Greetings, people.
What's up, Pasties?
You son of a bitch. I'm Jake, your host. That's Reverend Spaceman, who just interrupted me.
I said, what's up, Pasties?
Jordan, another co-host.
Hey, everyone. I'm not Dave. I know there's a lot of confusion out there. I know we sound very similar, but I'm Jordan.
And that's Dave.
Just letting you guys know.
I've heard from Zach of Team Bastard that me and Dave kind of talk alike.
I've recently been made aware of this theory as well.
Yeah.
Just the other day when we
guess it's not so much that our voices sound alike, but our cadences, I guess, is what he was trying to say.
We say things the same way.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Solve this debate once and for all.
This is really
We
important.
have the same mannerisms and...
People have said we look like we could be brothers.
Y'all brothers or something?
You'll know many times. I'm pretty sure.
I thought you were the same person.
We've been mistaken as lovers as well.
Yeah,
at our
maybe
somewhat local comic shop that we still go to.
That was
together
weird.
most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it.
You've already gotten into it.
Basically, I think the assumption is that they thought we were a couple.
Because, well, I said I was moving away, and then he was like, "Oh, where are you all moving?"
Yeah.
That's what he should have just laid down the law right there. It's like, I'm moving, he's staying here.
I'm not gay.
We couldn't get a relationship
Not that
back.
there's anything wrong with that.
You say that as you're walking out the door.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Couldn't get a relationship back on track, so he's staying here, I'm moving away.
Clean for 8 years.
Anyways, so we just watched rewatched the Justice League Dark trailer for the animated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a director was announced for the big screen.
We can get into that after.
But this is the animated movie.
Both of which I'll probably watch before I watch Game of Thrones.
A fall 2016 release.
Yeah.
As of now, I don't think specifics. Any specifics at this point.
Okay, so
What are you trying to say? And which one of us is talking? I'm so confused right now.
Rev was saying there's no specifics. I mean, Dave.
Maybe I am Tyler Durden.
He's the negative. Any negative thoughts you've always had, it's been Dave. I'm saying that in quotation marks.
Okay, so Reverend Spaceman, we'll start with your thoughts on Justice League Dark.
Looks phenomenal. I mean, like these new 52 movies have kind of been gradually declining.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them. Batman, Bad Blood.
Still haven't seen.
Yeah. Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the most recent one.
Yeah.
Killing
Besides Killing Joke. But
No,
it wasn't really in the
Justice League
continuity
vs.
of it.
Teen Titans was actually after that. But
Oh, I haven't seen that one either.
don't bother.
I like Bad Blood.
Yeah,
I'll watch it to watch it.
Bad Blood was pretty good. Justice League vs. Teen Titans was honestly disappointing. Had a really cringy, terrible, like, pop punk song in the middle of it. It was awful.
Sum 41.
The song was awful. The movie was mediocre at best. But yeah, they're kind of 50-50 in quality. This one actually looks really phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Like the voice acting just from the trailer seems a whole lot better than the kind of lackluster, like give me my paycheck type performances of a couple other ones. Especially anytime Ra's al Ghul showed up, like in Son of Batman. He's really terrible voice for him and Deathstroke.
Yeah, that was... Again, I didn't care for Son of Batman at all, but one of the things I really didn't care for was, I don't know who played Deathstroke in that.
Yeah, I'll give you
it
that.
It should have been Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Really should have, because he did it in Flashpoint.
And he should do it
Always.
in the DCE.
In the movie. Yeah.
And he should also play Cable.
Yeah.
Because Ron Perlman.
If not him,
the
guy from
awesome.
Avatar.
Also, like, even in
Sam
not
Raimi?
very good movies, Ron Perlman's
the
always
army
good.
guy from Avatar.
Oh,
With,
yeah.
with the scars.
Yeah.
He wants to.
So does Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
And I'm all for Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Give him that.
What about Danny Houston?
I'm for it. Wait, who are you talking about?
Just
What was
watch.
that, Tyler?
That's what I
No,
should have
it's-
went for. It would have been fun, but I ruined it.
The obvious choice is Shia LaBeouf.
Dave, what are
Shut
your
your whore mouth.
Dave? What are your thoughts on Justice League Dark?
I thought it was really good.
What was that, Tyler?
Who's talking for who?
This is not gonna
We got into a
That's my
weird
Tyler impression.
philosophical thing about our own lives, but anyway, I think it's really cool that they're making this.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool concept in the New 52. I like that kind of dark supernatural horror stuff. And I think it's cool we're seeing a different side of the DC universe.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all just And yeah, like Superman, I think maybe Batman is in its prime side. I'm sure other Justice League members as well are.
I think I heard Wonder Woman.
That's very possible.
She's been voiced by Rosario Dawson in these. One of the best choices in them, honestly.
Yeah, again, speaking of voice actors, I'm really happy Matt Ryan. They got him to voice Constantine.
Yeah.
Which I think is... I've talked about on multiple videos before about what a big fan I am of him as Constantine. The show itself, being on NBC, had its issues. I think its issues were that it was on NBC.
Yeah,
and
For what it had to go against, I think
I liked,
it was okay.
I liked it for what it, for what it was.
Know, yeah.
You know,
because I know nothing
I
about
really
the
liked
character.
him. Yeah.
Like, outside of the
You
Keanu.
saw him on. It was kind of cool when he showed up on Arrow.
Yeah.
Really, only episode of that since like season 3 that I've seen of the show, and he was great.
He was. Like, yeah, I've only
I
seen...
kind of like that they worked him into
all
the
that
backstory. too.
Yeah, because all that I knew about Constantine previously was the Keanu Reeves movie, which I'm sure is not accurate.
I haven't watched it.
Like, here's my thoughts on that.
It was a
It's
fun
actually
movie.
it's a good movie.
I hear it's not bad.
It was
Like,
pretty
don't take the comics into
Yeah.
consideration. Like, just take it as a movie, and it's actually pretty good.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, but yeah,
And
like...
he's like an American. And
Yeah,
not
and-
blonde.
Again, don't like if you're a fan of the comics, just turn your
Man,
comic
I mean,
book
that-
brain off.
The
yeah.
initial Jamie Delano run in the
It was like late 80s or early 90s.
Early to late. I think I want to say late 90s or late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it would have to be because Constantine debuted in Swamp Thing,
Yeah.
and Swamp Thing I think started in like the early to mid.
He's going to be in this movie, too.
Yeah.
In the animated movie. Don't worry
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the-
No, I think
Yeah, I was
I think in
pretty
the
good.
live action Swamp Thing, I think is rumored to be
Which there's
one of the
precedent
main
for
ones.
that, because
Well, 'cause I
he's
know
been in
the-
movies before.
Yeah.
There have been Swamp Thing movies.
I know
or
the
a
new
movie.
Like
52
82 was like the
Yeah.
first one.
Frankenstein was actually a part of the
Yeah.
Justice
Yeah.
League Dark. I
Frankenstein
don't
or
think I saw him in the
Frankenstein's
trailer.
monster.
Frankenstein's monster. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
That's
I don't
right.
know. I don't know if
Thoughts?
it's as I don't know if it's as clear in the comic, but I think they do call him Frankenstein. But anyway, again, I think it's really cool that it's getting made. Along with, I don't love the art style. It's fine.
It's not Bruce Timm,
Yeah,
but
I just it's fine. With all these kind of more recent DC animated movies, I don't love the art style.
yeah, I get that.
It's fine.
I've grown.
Yeah.
I've grown.
It does-
It's grown.
yeah, it
it's,
does-
it's
Yeah.
grown on me. I mean, I don't-
with
it's-
good voice acting and story
Yeah.
and everything, it doesn't bother me that
It's-
much. It's just nitpicking.
It's
Yeah.
basically like an evolution of the Young Justice art style,
A little bit, yeah.
more or less.
It's fine. I'm excited for it. Again, I'm always pessimistic. It could be bad. It could let me down. I hope not. Again, I think it's cool. DC's taking a chance with a bit more of a chance.
Yeah.
I guess with something
Yeah.
like it's a bit more. What's that completely unknown? But
Well, I mean, like most of their
More
animated
underground,
movies
I guess.
are Batman, Superman related.
Yeah. I'm sick
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
nice
like
to-
Justice League.
I mean, I liked Bad Blood, but I'm sick of Batman animated movies.
Yeah, like again, DC has a
There are
massive.
other
I want some Green Lantern movies.
Yeah, like Green Lantern.
I want a
give
Flash
us,
movie.
Yeah, give us.
Yeah,
I mean,
Flash.
Flashpoint. Flashpoint was
Yeah.
Flash centric, but it was still it encompassed the rest of the main DC
Yeah.
roster.
But you're getting
Well,
Batman, like 3 Batman movies a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's so cool about the Flashpoint
Spread some
comics,
love.
though, is it spread that. Well, you had your Flash-centric Flashpoint storyline,
Yeah.
and there was Flashpoint Batman,
Yeah.
Flashpoint Aquaman, what have you, that focused on these main stories. So the challenge in the movie was putting all
Yeah.
of that into
Yeah.
one.
But the movie was great
Yeah.
though. Probably up there with one of my favorite DC animated movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in no particular order, because I still can't decide number one, but probably Flashpoint, Dark Knight Returns, and Under the Red Hood.
Yeah. I'd put Superman Doomsday in there too.
That's one with Supergirl, isn't it?
I have to watch
No,
it
Doomsday
again.
is the.
Oh, no, I keep thinking,
It's the death of Superman.
Okay, yeah.
That's Apocalypse.
Yeah, that one was really
I
good.
have to watch it again.
Superman Unchained was alright, but kind of felt like it could have been longer actually.
Jordan, what were your thoughts?
Yeah.
Not much different from Tyler. Dave. I'm glad it's getting made. I'm kind of surprised
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this Justice League Dark's only 5 years old,
Mhm.
which is really cool to already see making moves quickly, and hopefully this.
Yeah, because a lot of these characters, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but I know Constantine and Swamp Thing were Vertigo characters
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
And then with New 52, they finally brought them into the
It's-
mainstream.
Yeah.
It's
DC
yeah,
Universe,
it's a cool.
which is maybe not a great
Well,
thing.
Swamp Thing had been brought into it previously,
Well,
but yeah, they never really.
They really toned down Constantine. But
Yeah.
I like the potential that if this movie is successful, that we can get or expect for live action as
Yeah.
well. So I'm excited for it. You know, I like the dark tone of it. Even you know, for cartoon, I like how DC's willing to
push
you know
the
push
boundaries a bit.
Yeah,
I'm
push
sure
it.
it'll be at least PG-13.
So yeah.
I think most of their anime
Pretty
movies
much.
are PG-13.
Yeah, pretty much all of them are.
Yeah, and you know,
Ready
to
for Bizarre, but
be a
I have
young
no
series,
idea.
it's cool to
Yeah.
see
The only
it
one
I
get
guess
made.
probably not.
Probably not R, but it'll probably be PG-13.
Yeah.
I think Killing Joke was.
NC-17.
Oh yeah, and I think it'll
What they would
definitely be
have to do to
PG-13.
be
Oh, yeah.
NC-17.
Constantine and Zatanna just ripping each other's clothes off and banging.
I'm talking about it.
Yeah. And Swamp Thing just watches.
You can get away with a lot in a PG-13
You can.
animated movie, though. Like
Yeah.
some of these movies are really bloody,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Bad blood.
Yeah.
But I almost think that like maybe they're releasing this animated movie to kind of like test the water a little bit. Be like, is there an interest enough for Justice League Dark? Because they did announce that they're
Because again,
gonna do the movie.
Give this movie another theatrical one night
Yeah.
event and see
Yeah.
what see.
That's
That's a
basically,
good test message.
Lyman?
Yeah, Doug Lyman.
He's got, I think, at least 2 other things in the works right now. So the live action movie won't be happening
No.
for some time anyway.
But
Probably after Shazam.
Yeah. But to even have it just
Sure.
announced,
Because
in the
Shazam's
works
still
is
happening.
positive.
That's
Yeah.
like this does take Shazam's place. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It'll probably happen after Shazam.
but
Or whenever Shazam was supposed to happen.
I
Anyway.
think like 2019.
Yeah, I think it's.
Looking forward to that.
I wouldn't expect it before 2020.
Golly.
Honestly.
Oh, it'll probably get delayed, but I'm seeing it coming out. I mean, they got the
Well,
Rock.
yeah,
in
until
it.
we start hearing. Well, I'm not talking about Shazam. I'm talking about Justice League Dark. Get on the program.
Just
Sorry.
think after dark.
Which one of us are you, and what are you talking about?
You do this thing where you have your normal voice, then you start talking in another voice, but it still sounds similar. And
We have
It sounds
similar,
enough like you. You're just like you've changed the pitch.
we have similar
It's the sound.
cadences.
you know, it's like a split personality.
Yeah.
Speaking of other amazing looking movies.
Oh yeah.
But well, yeah, you know, I think the animated movie looks pretty cool. And again, I do like the voice talent, art style. It's not.
It's good enough.
Seeing
Yeah.
seeing it for the first time, I'd have been like, but
Yeah.
like you said, it's starting to kind of grow on me as
Yeah.
I see more of these animated films where
but
it's
again,
not really an issue.
I do like the fact that they are taking more of a chance, even with their animated movies, and taking more of a lesser known property. And as you all have said,
DC, we take risks.
yeah.
Yep. You
And-
can't fault him for that.
I guess
And-
you can't say Marvel doesn't take risks, but they're just really stupid.
They take very safe risks.
Yeah, I get it.
They take baby steps.
Yeah.
But
I guess they take risks as far as like, will this be storytelling risks? But like in public perception, they're not really risks. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what you're going.
I don't know what Marvel's doing right now.
I don't know
It
what I'm
sounds
trying to
dumb.
say. Right now.
Yeah, what are you?
I don't know what you're getting at either. But
Yeah, I don't know what we're trying to say.
yeah, I think Justice League Dark. It's a really cool concept,
Alex
just in
Bridget
general.
Dead Man's a really cool character.
Yeah.
Always thought.
Etrigan.
deserves- Yeah.
Really obscure
Like
character.
he's actually
Yeah.
using the little rhyme.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
trailer.
He was
When
in,
we were thinking about the trailer that I don't know if they do a lot of in these animated movies. At least I can't really think of any right now. The little clips of like the unfinished animation or the storyboards.
Yeah.
Like, just like split-second storyboards in there.
That's not going to be
Yeah.
in the movie.
Well, I know. It's sort of like
Why would I
a
even think
making
that?
of and a trailer.
Yeah.
They do that. They did that for the Killing Joke too.
Did they?
It was just
I
kind of
don't
like a yeah.
remember.
It was more
Brief.
Yeah, they did like a more of a featurette that they
Yeah.
released
Yeah.
before a trailer, and then I think this was just cut from that to be a trailer.
But yeah, I think that they are kind of like releasing this more or less to kind of see like if there's enough interest, and then I think that's when they'll kind of really be focusing more on like working on the script for the live action. So I know like Guillermo del Toro was like really campaigning for Justice League Dark movie, but since he commits to like a billion things at once,
Yeah,
he had to drop out. As far as I know, he's still, whenever the live action movie happens, he's still going to be a producer.
As far as I know, I haven't really heard
And
anything about it.
I imagine, I don't know if there's like even like a like a vague outline of a story or anything that Del Toro was working on, or if it was just like he was
I
like,
assume it'd
hey,
be
Just
somewhat-
visions.
yeah,
Somewhat based
Visuals.
on New 52 run, I would imagine.
I like the first volume.
probably
Bring in some giant robots.
But I do know that, like,
Oh.
according to rumors, it will have kind of the main, I guess,
It's gonna
roster.
have a tie-in to. I mean, it's gonna be definitely in this DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So
the
Batman
main.
will probably like take them all to prison or something.
But I do know that like the main rosters, as of again, that's all rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think it'd be
Jake, I don't have any salt.
it's a phrase.
No, you can't say that and then not have salt ready for us.
It's got a point.
Take it with oxygen. Just breathe in a little bit.
You only pump CO2.
Anyways, but I think there's reason to believe that the main roster of the live-action movie would be, of course, Constantine, Zatanna, Swamp Thing, Deadman, maybe some other of the characters. Now they've kind of had a.
And Mati with the power of heart.
I would say Swamp Thing will kind of fill in for
Yeah.
Frankenstein. I mean, it wouldn't
Probably.
surprise me if they have Frankenstein, but I,
I
feel
think
like
people are sick of Frankenstein movies.
probably.
Besides Matt Ryan, do we have any casting off the top of our heads? Or
Keanu Reeves.
So I don't.
I have nothing
I'm
against
kidding.
Keanu
I'm
Reeves as a person or an
Maybe
actor.
it's Deadman.
But
I mean, it's not it's not great casting. It's not
I don't
terrible.
really see him as Boston.
Like
Brand, but
they're probably not going to use Matt
I'm not
Ryan
sure
as
who
Constantine.
No.
They should.
established in the TV universe, but I wish they would make an exception.
Yeah.
I'd have to think a while to see who else I would accept.
I've seen some fan art and fan casting, and I'm all for it. Colin Farrell as Constantine. I think he would
I
do
could
I
really
think
good.
it would work. I just don't know
Okay.
if he would actually come back and do it.
I can see it.
After
I
Bullseye,
don't know if he really
was
wants to go back
probably
into
the
the
best part
superhero
of it.
world.
Yeah, and Michael Clark Duncan. I thought he was a really good kingpin.
The blind
Swamp
lawyer
Thing,
from Hell's
Ron
Kitchen.
Perlman. Let's bring him into it.
Of course.
I'm always up for that. Or Danny Houston.
Who?
Who is this person you keep saying?
It's in my head.
Why do I?
You know him.
Why do I keep bringing this guy up?
Is it another person you created?
Maybe.
So, like he's a successful actor. That's like you wanted to be an actor as a kid, so you created this Danny Houston persona.
He's one
Like-
of the 23 personalities living
Yeah.
in your head.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
head's
Split
split.
personalities.
With Deadman, I'm not as familiar with him, so I don't think I can cast him.
Nick Cage.
Sure. The bees.
Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard.
It is a role that he could
Dark.
don't know.
probably do, honestly.
Now,
So I
what-
think the rumors he'd be the more comic relief character of the Justice League Dark roster.
All I know of him is what I
probably-
know from Justice League Unlimited.
I think you could have a-
Batman Bold.
It does need to be dark, but there
Yeah.
would be humor in
Yeah.
it. Constantine isn't.
He's got that sarcastic,
Yeah.
witty humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to. Yeah, it doesn't need to be silly. I think
No,
it needs to
no,
be
no.
more of that kind of witty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Or dark humor,
I'm not sure
because
I
it's
wanna
a
see
dark movie.
Dry, kind of
Yeah.
sarcastic.
I'm not
you
sure
know.
who I want to see as Satana either, but I didn't really put a lot of thought into this before I asked.
Yeah, Jake, way to just put us all on the spot here.
You're welcome.
Now, I would be curious. I know it won't because it's not doesn't have enough of a following. But if it did do like a one night theater run, like Killing Joke, just to see
Somewhere.
what the numbers would be to
Yeah.
I think
determine.
the problem with one of the problems with Killing Joke was the fact that they put it in theaters. Because you
Yeah.
had to stretch the runtime.
turned
so
out-
you had to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
that
It would kind of have that reverse effect.
Batgirl pilot or whatever.
Well, to make it into a movie, air quotes, they would have had to stretch it no matter what.
Yeah.
And even before the theatrical release was announced, they
And I think-
announced that they were doing a prologue. But
Yeah.
well, I think it was a lot. All of these DC animated movies aren't made for the big screen. They're made
No.
for
No.
direct to DVD.
Yeah.
Not
just
even
VOD, whatever
just,
release.
just in terms of like a money
yeah.
for Justice League Dark. Just
So
I think that would
I
actually
just
make
kinda wanna
sense, though, to
see-
do
I'm not
that.
exactly sure where the decision was to put, and what point in the process they were making it.
I
It was
don't think it was
decided-
know,
until like.
'cause there's
later.
plenty of comic savvy people out there that may have not been as into it the last couple of years that don't really know anything about Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
And they watch this, kind of like it.
You know, it's just like, whoa, is that John Constantine?
Yeah.
Swamp
And it has
Thing?
Justice League in the name,
Actually,
so it's
it
going
is.
to draw.
A good example
it's
is
going to draw people.
I was talking to my older brother last night, and I brought up that like they're going to do a Justice League Dark movie, and he's like, you know, he doesn't really know all about it. And I'm like, well, basically it's John Constantine, Swamp Thing, Zatanna, Deadman are the main people of the roster, and I was like, it's basically a Dark Justice League where they take care of like the supernatural horror things of the DC universe and Vertigo, and he was like, I know nothing about this but that sounds really cool. Now, granted, my brother's, he's a comic reader, probably more of a casual comic reader.
That's the reaction I expect from just.
Yeah,
He also likes
comic
me more than any
fans,
of
so.
you.
apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, like,
there's only three of us here right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So does he like the you, Reverend Spaceman, more, or the Dave you?
Well, I
more?
mean, he'll just like he'll come up and say, "What are you assholes doing?" But then he'll walk over to me and like hold out his hand and shake my hand.
Yeah.
It's good to see
Hi,
you.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Because he never knows who he's gonna get.
Yeah.
from you. That's why he likes talking to you so
Yeah.
much.
Maybe.
Unpredictable.
I'm so
You're
so split.
unpredictable.
But
Looking forward to it.
yeah, I think it'll be. And again,
Nice
I
and
think
dark.
I think Doug Liman's a good director from the very little I've seen of him. I think most of his movies have been comic related. Like Edge of Tomorrow was based off a graphic novel.
Was it?
Manga.
Yeah, manga.
So he has sort of genre experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also it's just pull him off Gambit. Gambit's not gonna happen. if you're gonna do Gambit, like
Do
Have
it.
the faith, man.
Do it
Don't
after
cast Channing
Shazam.
Tatum.
no, like okay, do
No
Gambit.
offense to Channing Tatum, but I just don't see him in the role.
You want
Neither do
Channing
I.
or Taylor Kitsch back?
Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch is a better actor. I would
He is
say.
literally
I thought-
full of bees.
I wouldn't say
I thought
better
he
actor,
was-
maybe for Gambit.
One of the better parts of that horrible Wolverine movie.
Yeah,
But
but
he was decent.
I still haven't seen it all the way through.
I wouldn't mind giving him a chance, giving him
Yeah.
a Gambit movie.
well, like by all means, spin Gambit off in a
Channing
solo
Tatum's
movie,
is fine.
but
He's done good things.
introduce
Like, I just
Gambit
don't see him in the role at
in
all.
introduce Gambit in like the next big X-Men movie.
Yeah.
And kind of like give him enough screen time to kind of be like, okay, let's see if he's perceived well enough and if he's popular enough, then we'll spin him off into a solo movie instead of just because he doesn't have
Give
the
him a
cult.
really cheap scene that just like takes away from the rest of the movie for like 5 minutes, where he's just
Like-
doing card tricks.
He doesn't have the same cult
slow
following
motion.
that like Deadpool does. I think Deadpool warranted a solo movie more than Gambit.
I mean,
Because
I
one,
don't know this off the top of my head, but when was Gambit created? When did he enter into the X-Men universe?
I don't think he's been around
He
that
was
much
so-
longer.
No, he just got famous off the cartoon.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I remember him the most.
So I would
I
say
say
he.
he wasn't around till maybe the 80s. But
Late
I could,
80s,
Yeah.
I
I
could
think.
be wrong.
Yeah, I think
Again,
like mid to
Deadpool
late
was-
80s,
I want to say it was 90.
I
91.
think
A lot
Deadpool
of
technically
the
appeared.
fan base didn't like him when he first appeared.
Yeah.
in the comics.
I think Deadpool technically showed up once in the 80s as like a background character,
Did
and then actually became a character.
91.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he's one of the fastest growing
Yeah.
characters
Oh,
in
yeah.
popularity.
and also like
him and Harley Quinn.
yeah, but also the fact that like the Gambit movie was supposed to be like 150 million, and it's just like no, Gambit doesn't need that big of a budget.
No.
Chop that in half. Two,
He
they
doesn't
like
need to be stopping the weird spiraling
Yeah, no.
thing.
yeah, because that seems to be like the
Yeah.
generic thing for all
I
these
hope
big
Suicide
budget
Squad
movies.
just drove the nail into the coffin.
I hope
Like
so,
that
too.
being
Yeah.
over.
But also, like, I think Doug Liman's the third director that's dropped out, and I think even Channing Tatum dropped out for a little bit. But I imagine
I
they
feel
give
like
him
no
a,
one has any faith in that
Yeah.
movie, but they're still gonna
like
make
they
it.
even like started building sets in New Orleans, but then they stopped because I guess either the script was really bad or the fact that everyone kept
Kinda like
dropping
they're
out.
actually shooting down there. Kind of like they would actually be shooting down there.
I mean,
More movies have been getting shot there recently.
Yeah.
The TV shows. So
But,
Cast and stuff.
yeah.
but yeah, basically everything just it's pointing to disaster. So it's just kind of like it was a good move for him to just get away from that. And I imagine it's only a matter of time until like Channing Tatum is kind of like, oh, scheduling conflicts, I can't do it anymore.
I mean, it's just going to be in development.
He keeps
Yeah.
signing on for tons of movies anyway.
Yeah, so
it's just
It's gonna be the Fox's
he's
version
not Ryan.
of Shazam.
He's not Ryan Reynolds saying we need to get this done.
Yeah.
Go do 23 Jump Street Men in Black or whatever.
I think they
they're
actually
calling it.
scrapped that.
Oh, really?
I think
Yeah.
so.
They didn't
I was
scrap it, but
kinda
I've heard it's
looking
in.
forward to
I don't think they scrapped it, but I've heard it's in trouble.
Yeah, because I think like they interviewed Jonah Hill or someone interviewed Jonah Hill and he was kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I think he was a bit more political, but it sounded more or less where he was like,
Are they
23
doing
Jump
a
Street,
23
yes,
all, or-
but Men in Black crossover, probably not.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they keep that franchise going, either way.
It sounds kind of awful, but I think they could pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
I mean, everyone was skeptical for about 21. And
yeah.
Yeah.
exceeded.
And the beauty of combining it with 21, or the 20 Jump Street universe, I guess is what you want to call it.
Sure.
Little did
Is-
Johnny Depp know in the 80s.
It's like it's like even if like the 21 Men in Black
21 universe.
movie failed, they could just poke fun of it in the next 24
Yeah.
Jump Street and just kind of like, oh, remember that time we were Men in Black? It was so terrible.
Remember that drug trip where we thought we were Men in Black?
Yeah, they could easily pull that
Oh,
off
yeah,
and
it's-
it'd work. Because that was kind of the beauty of the second one, where it was one of the few comedy sequels that worked. It was kind of self-aware, where they're like, I feel like we've done this before.
Yeah, I liked it a lot in theaters, but in my second viewing, I still liked it. I didn't like it as much, though.
Look, okay, for a comedic comedy sequel, it's one of the better ones.
Oh, yeah.
Because comedy sequels, it's like, the first one's usually good, second one, you're like, it's
Just
kind
look
of...
at the Hangover drop off kind of.
Oh, God.
You know?
Like, I didn't even
Like
see
that
the third one,
first
so I'm like, I don't
was
care anymore.
Such a hit.
I like
thought
the third one.
should have been what the second one
I liked
was,
it-
if they were
Yeah.
going to do
Yeah.
another one.
I liked it better than the second one, but it still wasn't good.
I enjoy those guys and just watching them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the thing with
There's only so
Yeah,
much you
Horrible
can
Bosses
do with
like,
it.
I like those guys. I like
It's-
them together.
It's
Yeah.
really
It's
just
fun to
yeah.
watch, but it's the
It-
right.
Yeah.
There's the writing is like really dumb. It's really just
There's a point to where you have to force it
yeah.
because there's only so much you can do.
There's only
And
so much
that's
you
the
can
problem.
do with
That's-
the chemistry.
That's why Horrible Bosses 2 worked because like yeah, it was not. It's not even. I wouldn't call it a good movie, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It kept me
As long as it
laughing.
makes me laugh,
Yeah,
It's-
that's
You're
your
content.
Because
base,
it's more just-
kind of what you're looking for in
Yeah.
a comedy, anyway.
especially a sequel.
If it can be a little, if it can also
yeah, and
have good writing.
it really was just
too,
those guys
Yeah.
being funny.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
But I guess we'll move into Rebirth.
Split. What?
Sure. Let's go with Split. The trailer for that new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
January
if you heard
horror.
that was me making a splitting sound with the table.
He split the table in half.
He did.
It was.
Even
He's
though
like-
you're not
he's-
really real.
Yeah.
But
Do you know?
One of us did.
I don't know.
But the
I
Dave,
mean, I see you, but
the Dave version of Richard's alter ego is a master of karate.
Yeah.
And friendship,
Friendship
for
for
everyone.
everyone.
And champion of the sun.
Hey man,
Fight
fight to run the night, man.
Did watch
Champion
that.
of the sun.
Well, the actual where it originated episode is the first. To get way
Sweet
off track
News
even
Day,
further.
retarded person.
Yeah, the first episode of Sunny that I ever watched, Jake showed to me, was the Nightman comic.
Yep.
Still one of my favorite episodes, if not
Yeah.
my favorite. but
Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
It's, I mean, I think it's a general fan.
Yeah.
like, number one fan favorite episode.
It's up there with The Gang Hits the Road for me.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
But you can watch, and I didn't realize until I started from season
Yeah.
one watching the whole. And I think they were only on maybe about season 5 or 6 at the time
Mhm.
when I jumped on there. So when I heard it in season 3,
Yeah.
in Sweet News Day and Retarded,
You were kind of like, what? Yeah.
So I knew about, and then it just when I finally got to start watching season, I think it's
4.
Is it the
4.
finale of
Yeah.
4?
Yeah.
So yeah, when I finally got there, it just made it even better.
Yeah.
Like so, they've been planning this for like at least a year.
Yeah. But yeah, so Split. Reverend Spaceman. Start us
man.
off on the M. Night Shyamalan's soon-to-be hit, Split.
Hit split. All right. M. Night Shyamalan.
That's not recyclable. Put in the trash. Quit trying to ruin the environment, Dave.
It's plastic.
I don't care about that stuff.
You should. Think about the baby seals you're killing.
Yeah, and kill more of them. All right, so
I
M.
just
Night.
don't think anything we do is going to make a difference anyway.
No, it's not. Well, look, we're all gonna die. Then everyone else is gonna die, and then the sun is gonna burn
Trash.
out,
That's not recyclable.
and then everyone will be
Jeez.
dead, and the
I
planet
mean,
Earth will be
he's,
gone.
He's not real, so it's okay. You can give him a break.
Jake, you're such a nag. All
I'm going to
right.
use that. Just
You
in my
filthy
life.
nagger.
I'm not real. Give me a break.
So does that mean, like, everyone at work, just, like, when I'm talking to you,
Richard.
and, like, last night when we were, like,
You hate the
eating at Old
register, that's where you
Chicago, I was
create
just
him.
talking to, like, nothing the whole time?
You'd have to talk to Zach and JD.
Okay, I'll have to ask him about that.
Whose imagination is Dave a figment of? Tell us in the comments.
Yeah.
Rate, comment, subscribe. Red arrows on letters will be in this
Winner
split.
gets a free T-shirt.
No, you don't.
Don't promise things we can't deliver.
You don't get it.
I didn't specify what T-shirt.
I mean, at some point in your life, you might get a free T-shirt, but not from us.
Not yet.
Not
we
yet.
will guarantee
We
you
have-
the possibility of getting a free T-shirt
We
in your
have
life.
we have plans for a T-shirt. Actually, we'll talk about that off the air. All right, so Split. It's coming out this January, a horror movie. You know, good sign already, right?
I don't know if it seems more like a thriller than a horror.
Yeah, horror thriller.
It's
I
semantics.
still say horror.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan,
We'll be
direct.
thrilled either way. Is what
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
can confidently say.
M. Night Shyamalan, the director of The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and
The Happening, the greatest movie ever made. Next to The Room, of course.
Well, I like the trailer where it's just like the director of The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs,
The Village.
the Visit, and nothing else.
yeah.
The director of course, The Last Airbender, Lady in the Water, which I haven't seen, but I hear is pretty horrible.
I actually didn't hate it.
It's got a
Is that the thing with Daniel Radcliffe?
it's got a
No.
kid
No.
sitting.
What's that?
It's got a kid sitting and looking at a
Mm.
cupboard full of
What?
cereal and like reading the future by reading the boxes
When
of
it's
cereal.
Yeah.
It was
I don't know what you're
They
saying.
made a second one too.
play with that.
No,
Still,
but they got a sequel
So
in January.
James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Well, James McAvoy's head is still shaved
He's a
from
great
X-Men
actor,
Apocalypse.
Yeah, he is.
Was.
Like, like, given the right
He
material,
was.
I think he's Oscar worthy.
Well, that's not going to happen now.
I
So,
still, yeah, and a point you brought up before we
His
started
career
recording,
jumped the
too.
shark.
yeah.
I think this role really could show off what a great actor he is.
Yeah.
If it was
But-
not a
If
Shyamalan,
executed properly.
Yeah.
it's Shyamalan. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which, first off, how does he keep getting work? That is the biggest question in Hollywood right now. How?
Well,
I'm just going to assume he's like really easy to work with.
either that or he's probably made a deal with the devil. Like he
Or he just like always comes in under budget or
Yeah.
like money.
That could be-
he's,
yeah,
he's
'cause
easy
that's-
to
'cause
hire,
that's the
or he
thing
works
with-
for cheap. I don't
because
know.
that's the thing with Michael Bay. He always comes in under budget and on time,
Yeah.
like with all of his movies.
Still makes money.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
$1 billion, Transformers 4.
worth
They're not
it.
good movies, but they're entertaining.
Yeah.
Especially when you bring Marky Mark in.
Oh,
the picture.
God.
What
yes.
more
It's
could
an
you ask
adventure.
for?
Now I believe Marky Mark is like the premier scientific.
Oh yes. Einstein of our generation.
Well, you want
I've
you want
always believed
insurance? You want insurance for my giant freaking spaceship? Grabs Bud Light, cracks it open, chugs, throws it down. Sweetie, pass me my space gun. Oscars.
Yeah.
So
How is
Split.
he not won an Oscar yet?
Has he not really?
Yeah.
It's not unjust. Split is happening. I've been saying that for a few minutes
I
now.
think I probably cut you off before you even
I
got
don't
to
know.
the premise.
Premise.
Basically, James
Reverend
McAvoy
Spaceman.
plays someone who has 23 distinct personalities.
Thank you, Reverend Spaceman.
This movie really hits home.
Yeah, James McAvoy has split personalities. His head is still shaved from Apocalypse, or hair's falling out. It might be in the universe. I don't know. We never know. Maybe he absorbs 23 people into his brain. So,
That's probably what happened to him when Apocalypse made him lose his hair.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. So it's in the universe, clearly. One of them's a woman, so this movie's gonna get... We're gonna
At least
see,
one of them. We didn't
At
see
least,
all
yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
We get to see James McAvoy cross-dressing. Always wanted to see that. I don't know about anyone else, but I mean...
Yeah.
You know,
I
that's...
feel
Like,
he's probably done it.
When I first
Soon
saw
as I-
him in Chronicles of Narnia as Mr. Tumnus, I'm like, that guy needs to cross-dress
Forget that.
as a goat man.
As soon as I saw him in Wanted, I was like, man, you know what this movie needs?
That was
Drag.
a disappointing movie.
We'll get into that.
I liked it. It's a fun movie.
I didn't like the comic. It's
It's
nothing
alright.
like the comic.
No.
I didn't
No.
like the-
If
I didn't
you-
like the comic either.
But if you take it for what it is, I think it's a
I liked it.
fun, dumb
It was
movie.
it was pretty fun. It was. I mean, it was an action movie
Yeah.
at the time.
did it carefully.
Good
Whatever.
Danny Elfman score, though.
Danny Elfman is always good.
Anyways, Reverend
Yeah,
Spaceman.
uh,
Not the Dave Spaceman, but the Reverend Spaceman.
Is there a
Spaceman.
The
difference?
physical one.
Well, I'm not technically registered as a net reverend.
That's right.
For you.
So,
The
the official Reverend
Yeah.
Spaceman
The
continues.
one and the only. He's gonna kidnap some people by like sitting in
Like
their
teenage
car.
girls, it seems like you're in their 20s.
Probably, yeah. He's gonna sit in. He sits in their
They're
car,
legal. They're legal.
looking like Walter White almost for a second
Yeah.
there.
A little bit.
Maces
Why wasn't
him.
Bryan Cranston cast in this movie?
He was too busy being Zordon. That movie looks way too good to be Power
It looks
Rangers.
way better than it should. be.
Yeah, this movie has no business
I'm
being
pumped
that
for
good.
it.
Yeah, me too. I shouldn't be, but all
You
right.
should.
Yeah. So he's gonna he kidnaps these people, and then like they pretty much gave away the twist that's gonna be that they're all personalities.
Yeah.
You know, because they kind of hint in the trailer. You kind of see like, oh, this could be another person. Nope, it's him. And then you see him like twisting his back muscles a little bit with some like crackling post-production sound effects to make it look like he's morphing his body
Yeah.
I think they
to
even
be a
said
child.
that.
Yeah, they're like, someone with this personality disorder can morph their body chemistry, and I'm sure there's a grain of truth. To
Morph? Like the X-Men?
no, like the Power Rangers.
So it is an
Morph
universe.
Yeah. So obviously he's reconfiguring his bone structure so he can be these different people.
I mean, who hasn't done that?
I do it every day before work at the coal mine.
I can be anything that Richard imagines me to be.
That's right.
Go work that register, self.
Yeah, you're on the registers all the time. So.
I've never worked the register.
Digging
So
that
you
coal.
think-
Yes, you have. Not that you remember. But that's when I take over.
I mean, I get up there, I walk by the register. And
Why,
people
I
are
don't
like-
know.
I walk by the register and people are like, "It's good to see you again, sir." But I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I've never worked this register." And they're like, "Are you testing me here?"
Selling coal to people at the coal mine.
Yes, the coal register.
You're not like in the industry. You don't really know how coal works.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
sell
Just
it.
lump of coal.
It's
you
kind
sell
of
it
like
to
a
people.
typical retail store. where
Yeah.
we sell-
Santa Claus is like our biggest buyer.
Yeah.
Anyway, Split. Let's get back to Split.
Man, we keep
Talking about it
splitting.
way longer than I thought we would.
We keep splitting up what we're talking about. Looks about as Shyamalan as it can get, pretty much.
But what's the twist? What if the twist is he actually doesn't have split personalities and he's just a weirdo?
And he's just Bruce Willis the whole
Yeah,
time.
or Bruce Willis the whole
Like, you mean
Bruce
that-
Willis is bald!
You mean that guy without
Yeah.
the hair?
That would be amazing if in the movie he just morphs into Bruce Willis.
That's what I want.
We see his
All
like
right.
face
That's it.
crackling and
Yeah.
And it's just Bruce Willis.
It's a little older.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's the end of the movie.
No, it's PG-13. They can get away with one.
One,
Maybe
yeah.
one.
But
Or the better cut, Yippee-ki-yay Melon Farmer.
it actually was for Mr. Falcon.
Either one,
It,
I'm
act-
cool with.
it actually was. It was supposed to be Bruce Willis originally. Like I looked into this a little bit. He was going to be in that role, but he dropped
Oh,
out probably
man.
because he has respect for himself. A little bit.
No, he
left.
doesn't.
Not
No, he
much.
doesn't.
Not anymore.
No.
Did you see the last Die Hard movie?
He had. All right. He
No,
had,
like
that's
the
actually
last-
one of his better ones.
The last
had-
10 years, he's
Is it?
checked out completely.
Yes.
all right. He has more respect for himself than he has enough left. To
He
not
has
do
enough
Shyamalan.
respect to not do a big wide release movie like this will be.
Yeah.
He likes to do video on demand.
Yeah.
And not try. He doesn't
I
want
liked
to
him
see
in,
the whole world not try.
What was the last?
Airbender. You should see it.
What was the last Wes Anderson movie before
Moonrise
Hotel
Kingdom?
Room? Moonrise Kingdom. I like
Yeah.
the Moonrise right. Moonrise
I
Kingdom.
mean, he'll pop up like
He'll do
in
something.
Looper or something,
I like the.
Looper.
but he'll release 2 or 3 VODs.
Well, I think it's like
and no
when
one
he
knows
has
it.
competent directors and a good story, he'll
Yeah,
actually
he
try.
doesn't memorize
So
his
not
lines
Kevin
anymore
Smith.
either.
Yeah.
Like when he was on Broadway last year, he has a piece in his ear, and someone has to read him off
Oh
the
my
lines
God.
because he refuses to memorize lines just out of
Because he's
pure
like that Bruce
laziness.
Willis,
Yeah,
But he's still too good for Shyamalan.
yeah. I mean, I still love him, but
Yeah.
he's he's hard to work
Kevin
with.
Smith was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that whole story.
And he got
Yeah.
got kicked off the Woody Allen movie a while back, so
Oh, did he?
it's like it's kind of hard to do, but
They're still letting Woody Allen work.
yeah.
I like Woody Allen, but
So Bruce Willis has no
whenever you
respect.
get
Yeah.
allegations
But
of child molestation,
He's still got one grain of respect
Just
left.
one grain, not
And
to come
and
back
that's-
for M. Night.
Tell him not to do Shyamalan.
Even though he's done one of the better Shyamalan movies, I'm pretty
Yeah, but
Oh yeah,
he's not coming back.
that was back in the early days when
Yeah.
everyone was convinced.
He was the
I don't
next
know, name
Spielberg.
I mean, Annie Hall is probably the most famous one.
No.
But I mean, he's done lots of stuff.
I haven't seen
It
it.
might be one of my next ones for you.
Alright.
I like Woody Allen.
It's too late to change the one now because we're already.
Well, I
seeing
don't
it.
want to change the one now. Because
Okay.
You do need to see a Bond movie, and I think Goldfinger is a good way to start.
Alright. Are we done?
Self.
Go to Reverend Spaceman's channel for this.
We're
whole-
having two
Yeah.
totally different conversations.
So yeah, Split looks amazing. I'm gonna go see it opening night. Fandango and those tickets.
I'll join you.
I might actually join in on this one. It looks spectacular.
Yeah.
It's January. That'll
Make
be
it a
like
big
after
event.
peak season.
Big podcast event.
Yeah.
We'll do a full hour-long
After
review
the
of it.
Star Wars has calmed down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be our nice kind of. All right, we're done with good stuff for a while. Let's talk about Split.
That'll be like our Gods of Egypt of
Yeah.
next year.
Still haven't seen it.
Might be. I don't know. There might be a Gods of Egypt next year.
I'm sure there will be.
Probably.
I mean, not
Um,
literally. It's not good.
Hopefully.
If only we could get a Gods of Egypt 2.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll move on to DC Rebirth and what we're reading in Rebirth.
So,
Word.
Still good.
yeah.
Just,
I guess I'm still a week or two behind on things.
I'm about a week behind.
Yeah, I think I'm about a week behind.
Because I mean, they're putting 2 books out a month. Of
Yeah.
Pretty much all the
Yeah.
titles, so it's it's still a little hard to keep up.
Yeah, in terms of like keeping up and going consistently, but I think it's still a smart.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Love
still a
it.
smart marketing
Yeah.
move.
I'm spending too much money on comics, but I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I tallied it up, and I'm spending like almost $80 a month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just-
think about it: 20 a visit, 20 a week. So,
Yeah.
which doesn't seem a lot. Like
Well,
when
see,
you buy them, but
that's-
when you
that's-
save
we've-
up like 2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
$60.
But like when we talk,
I guess when we don't usually go for a couple weeks at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
but also we've talked about it
Yeah, it's
before.
a-
Is DC are smart by
Yeah.
doing the
we are right now
$2.99.
Yes.
mostly reading DC.
Yeah.
I'm reading exclusively DC.
I still read a couple Marvel, but that's about it.
A couple Marvel.
Like
two of
Moon
those
Knight's
are
been
Star
pretty good.
Wars.
Yeah, the Marvel Star
So
Wars,
it's not even
Punisher.
really.
No, not even.
Uh,
Yeah.
But like DC
affiliated.
were genius with their $2.99
Yeah.
because it's one of those things where like mentally you think $2.99 and you just keep stacking up your pile
Yeah.
of DC comics. It kind of equivalates to the same amount you'd normally pay because you're thinking, oh, I can buy more of these.
But
But
I think in
every-
the industry too, both companies were. It was getting to the point where we go up any higher, nobody's gonna buy
No.
anything.
Yeah.
It was pushing
Nobody's gonna buy
$5.
it. Nobody's
for
gonna buy
Yeah.
it
a
all.
lot. Extra
For the
pages.
most part, I pretty much stopped buying comics.
Yeah.
And they're doing.
That being
Yeah.
a lot of the reason.
And the fact they're doing 2 a month, but they're still quality issues.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're like
It's not
really
just
solid.
pushing it out to push it
Yeah.
out. It's
And I think I've said this before, but I like the fact that they've brought in like this new talent,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the guy that writes Flash, Joshua Williams.
I love the Flash.
Williamson.
Williamson.
That's one
Writes
of my favorites.
like they
Yeah.
brought him from Image. Like he's done a lot of good
like,
Image stuff, like
climbing up to be my
Birthright.
favorite
Yeah,
character.
kind
Yeah.
of one of the more indie guys. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
their. It's kind of with Scott Snyder, Kyle Higgins.
Yeah.
Well, they came
With-
in a little bit before New 52.
That's how they kind of
The
got.
first thing I ever read from those guys was Gates of Gotham, which
Mhm.
I think it was just a 5-issue, just really cool
Yeah,
miniseries.
that was cool.
That delved a bit more into like just the history of
Yeah.
Gotham City and the family,
That could be
the
interesting.
Wayne Cobblepotts and
Mhm.
If only Gotham was
the
like
other
that.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only the show or anything like that.
If only the show was anything
But
like
anyway, that
any
was my
comics.
introduction to Scott Snyder, Kyle
Mhm.
Higgins. Then they got that, obviously, Scott Snyder's now.
Dave's been drinking, by the way.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's infamous Batman run. But yeah, Scott Snyder's, I guess now, kind of legendary Batman run.
Yeah, like I mean,
instant classic.
Yeah, and now he started on All-Star Batman.
Yeah.
Which honestly didn't really get me until the very end.
Mhm.
But now I'm like,
Might
Get
check
that
it out.
Two-Face going.
and then I've started reading some other stuff by him. I really like American Vampire.
still need to read that. I've got the first volume like
Maybe
on
9
my
or 10
table over there.
volumes in. I like it a lot.
Just haven't gotten around to reading it.
Especially the Raphael Albuquerque.
Yeah.
If I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, Albuquerque.
So I don't want to disrespect the man. I'm a big fan of his artwork.
Because he's a big fan of us, clearly.
Obviously.
Sure.
Get him on for an interview.
He should be. I'd love to. He's a fantastic artist. I really like his artwork.
But we're reaching like 6 issues,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's still quality. Like
Yeah.
usually
some
after
story
6,
arcs
you
ramping
can,
up and-
And-
you're starting to get a feel for this.
Yeah.
And
Another thing too, though.
Quality,
is-
yeah.
Those
Justice
things
League's
too.
getting good. Actually.
See, I haven't even read that.
I read
Yeah,
the
neither
Rebirth.
have I.
I
Need to read.
didn't really keep up. I kind of
It's-
forgot
I'd
about
like
it.
to read
honestly.
that in detective comics too.
Are they dealing with a lot more of the Watchmen stuff yet?
Not yet.
It seems like it's coming into play more in action.
Mhm.
Oddly enough.
Yeah.
You're seeing
That's
Mr.
true.
Oz. a
Yeah,
lot
Yeah.
more.
like every issue you're seeing him, which I'm like.
I'm liking
75.
action a lot.
Yeah, I really like action, and actually Superman just
Yep.
really like this issue really won me over because I was starting to feel a little bit of like
I said I was going to give it probably till 6,
Yeah.
or at least let
keep
that
going
story
back-
arc finish.
yeah,
But
keep
after
going
5,
back
I was
and
like,
forth on
man,
it.
it's like
it's really good. 5 was really good.
I mean, it's good overall,
it's
but
keeping me for now.
Yeah.
I'm still at the point where, like, I don't want to be spending this much.
Yeah.
So I kind of got to will it down a little bit, but yeah, it's kind
I'm
of
trying
like,
to keep it at 20 a
I'm
week.
going. I'm
Yeah.
kind of going on and off with Superman.
What's
I think Superman's just been a gradual climb because
Yeah.
the first like if Superman Rebirth was phenomenal. You know, like basically just a recap of the death of Superman.
Yeah.
If you know, kind of
those
farewell.
one-shots were really good for a lot of series.
Yeah, all of them were that I've read.
No, it's been very confusing for lots of people.
Yeah, that's the one complaint, confusing, but in terms of
I think it's
being
the
kind
one
of genius,
big
just having
flaw
those
with Rebirth
rebirths.
is you had Rebirth issue number 1,
Yeah.
and then it still says Rebirth on it,
I know.
but it's the
Yeah.
issue 1 of the
Yeah.
continuing series. It's
Aside from that,
been
though,
confusing, for,
Yeah.
especially people who are just trying to get into comics or have been
yeah.
out of it for a while. Was like, hey, reboot the universe.
yeah.
Let's try to get back into it. So I missed the first issue, or
Well, see, again, that's the beauty of Rebirth is it's not even a reboot.
It's
Like, it's-
just a shift in tone. And
Yeah, and I like the
quality.
fact that like it's basically like they're now aware that 10 years are missing from their life. Pre-New 52 is the 10-year
Yeah.
gap that's missing, and so now they're kind of like, well, what the hell happened in that 10-year gap?
and it just kind of seems in general that they're bringing back a lot of the stuff that they got rid of in New 52 that people
Yeah, like-
liked about DC.
Well, like
getting rid of a lot of the stuff people.
the
didn't
whole
like
relationship
about
between like
52.
Black Canary and Green Arrow that was nowhere to be found in New 52, and
I like
yet
that they brought that back, even though Green Arrow is one of the ones I'm kind of on and off.
I actually like it so far. Like it's not. Flash is probably my favorite one right now. Aquaman's really great.
Say Flash.
Yeah. Flash,
Flash
and
and
Batman are my
action,
favorites.
Flash action and Batman.
Have you guys been reading Wonder Woman?
No.
Yeah, I read
like the
Rebirth,
first 4 or
I liked
5.
it,
I might have to drop it just in terms
Like-
of money, and I don't like the 2 storylines.
That's
Because I
one
like
of my
one
only-
of them,
yeah.
and I wasn't feeling the other one.
That's my only complaint. Is I wish it
but
just
it's like one week
Yeah.
awesome Wonder Woman, the other week.
Yeah.
I'm collecting
I don't know.
issues 3, 5, 7, 9, 11,
it's a,
9/11.
I think it's kind of a cool concept,
13,
though.
15.
it's a cool concept, and I think it might work a little bit better. Like if I
And
went to the
I'd check it
comic.
out in the trade or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those will be
I
confusing trades.
Well, like I think it would work better if I went to the comic shop like on a weekly basis, or like whenever they release every issue of Wonder Woman, instead of like just every 2-3 weeks. So
Well,
that
you
way,
could just save it in your pile until you get
Yeah,
5
that's-
or 6.
I mean, it was still good what I read of it.
yeah, like I like it, and the artwork's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my only complaint. Is
Wasn't
it kind
impressed with
of
Aquaman,
like
I just
every
keeping up with
every
it.
other
Yeah,
issue, it's
man.
like the present day Wonder Woman, and then like Wonder Woman Year One, where it's kind of like she's back in Themyscira and all that stuff. Which I think it's one of those things where like if like Rebirth was just current day Wonder Woman, it'd be great. And then if they just did like I guess they've already done like a Year One, but if they did like a
Have you read
Rebirth,
Grant Morrison's.
not yet. It's
I've been wanting to.
yeah, it's something that I've been wanting to add to my list for a while, and I'll probably pick it up eventually. But like, if they did like Rebirth Year One or something, where like her back in Themyscira and all that stuff, I think it would work better than like kind of every other issue.
If it
like-
was a separate
I'm
series.
tired of the whole Year One thing. But
that's another thing too.
For some characters, but
Yeah.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
So again,
Because
that's
they got more of them coming up.
Yeah. So that being said, like Wonder Woman's still solid. That's my only.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a complaint, more of a nitpick. Like I think if they just done like 2 separate series, it would have been better.
it's like I need to whittle stuff down too because we've got all this other stuff that's coming September. I
Yeah.
think Batman Beyond.
October.
is
Yeah.
October. We've got.
I'm really looking
Then
forward
Red
to
Hood
that.
and the Outlaws just started
Yeah.
fairly recently, which I like that
Deathstroke
so
like
just
far.
started.
I'm like it's a bit of a slower build because I don't know if the second issue's come out yet. I like the Rebirth, which is kind of
Recap, yeah.
Jason Todd. But even the first episode.
Issue.
Whatever.
What are we talking about?
It's episodic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty much all about Jason Todd.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even meet his new teammates.
Yeah, but
until the
I'm-
very end, I like that it's kind of a slower.
Yeah, but I mean, also, I think, Jason Todd was the main reason that I even started reading Red Hood and the Outlaws and Red Hood.
Probably most people.
So I like that they. He was obviously the more centered character in the
Oh,
New 52
yeah.
series, but I think it's actually a smart idea to like have him as the introductory character, and then bring in Artemis, then bring in Bizarro, so that way.
I'm really looking forward to bringing in Bizarro.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know how
The
he's gonna come
interactions
into the
between
mix.
Those two are gonna be
Yeah.
great.
And I also like the fact that this is like anti-hero and the DC Trinity. Like Artemis is like an like exiled Amazonian.
That's a
Bizarro
really good
is.
point. I hadn't thought
yeah.
about
Yeah.
that.
So I think this dynamic could be really good.
And to point out too, which I probably have before, I think one of the very few writers who, and I don't think he's the only one, but one of the few staying on from the New 52.
Scott Lobdell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote the majority of Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Yeah.
And I
He was
guess came up with the concept for it.
Probably.
I
What's
assume he pitched the idea.
So yeah,
What's one title that we have been surprised about how good it was? Like maybe going in, we weren't even going to pick it up, or just
Aquaman.
kind of
Green Lanterns,
Green
Yeah.
Lanterns, Aquaman.
which I think I've said that before.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
wasn't
know,
sure what to
'cause
think about Green Lanterns.
the-
I need to get caught back up.
The
on
series
it.
that I picked up were kind of the ones that I've mostly read. New 52 of like Flash, Aquaman. I didn't really read a whole lot of New 52 Wonder Woman. And again, like the
Tried
series,
to, I just,
like the first volume is not bad.
Behind on it.
I might read more of it.
Didn't she have pants?
She did at one point, but I think that was
Horrible.
Like, I think that was way
Betrayal.
Later. That was way later in the New 52 story arc or whatever. Like
worst thing
I
you can
expected good things, but I think I'm still like just really impressed with Flash.
Yeah.
And also, again, I really like Joshua Williamson, and again, I like the fact, like, hopefully people will be like, oh man, what else has this guy done? And they're like, Birthright, let's check that out. Read Birthright, it's really good. So yeah, Flash has been solid so far.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Wasn't that-
also, Titans, because I picked
Yeah.
up the
That
first
was-
issue.
I thought it was
That'd be one of
They're-
the my
Yeah, brought
surprises.
back kind of the
Yeah.
After
more
recommendations.
original.
I was sold on Titans pretty much after
Yeah.
reading the Rebirth special.
And I'm looking forward to Teen Titans. So I think it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see Damian
Yeah.
ahead of.
It's getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
One title I picked up that just no recommendations,
No
nothing
trying
at
to
all
say.
was Batgirl and
Yeah.
Birds of Prey, which, like, the Batgirl New 52 was really good.
Yeah, I kind of compare it to that.
So,
like, the level.
That's what even got
That
me
was
interested
surprised.
to even want to pick it up. But that Batgirl and Birds of Prey Rebirth was really good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm still liking it. And what we kind of noticed
I think it's
the
about
time when we were in one of the other comic shops, it's not seeming to sell all that well.
no, it's
Hmm.
because
Compared to a
they've
lot
got
of
the
the other
Batgirl
Rebirth.
title
Yeah.
as well.
Which I
It's-
haven't checked
It's
out,
it's
actually, just 'cause I didn't
it's
like
getting
the
better.
artwork,
It's
but-
still not as good as Birds of Prey, so it's kind of on my.
Would you
watch
recommend,
list.
like me, to pick up like Birds of Prey
Yeah.
or? Okay.
At least
Yeah,
give the
no,
Rebirth a
Okay.
read
I really like
because
Black Canary and
that's what got me
just
into
her
it.
interactions with Barbara.
Also, like,
And the
Black-
first story arc is focusing on someone is posing as Oracle, who, when if you don't know, spoiler alert,
yeah, it's a good detective story.
when like that too. I think a lot of what's missing in modern day Batman, he's not as much of a detective,
Yeah.
He's been
especially
doing-
in the movies.
He did some detectiving in kind of recent issues when he, found out the
Yeah.
identities
Yeah.
of Gotham and stuff.
But what was I saying? Birds of Prey. Oh yeah, well, yeah. For those of you who don't know, in the Killing Joke, when the Joker shoots
After
Barbara,
after Barbara and Batman
She
had
does-
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she gets paralyzed.
That was my favorite part of that comic.
And you misogynistic. And anyways, and
Man, I hate
she's not
women,
just going to
guys.
stay out of the loop. She's going to help any way she can. She kind of becomes the
Eyes and
human
ears.
bat computer.
Yeah.
And calling herself Oracle, which
Yeah.
it makes
That's-
sense. Yeah.
That was just kind of the title that kind of blew me away because I was going to pick it up, give it a chance, maybe a couple more issues after that, just to see
Yeah.
if it went anywhere. Maybe it start out decent and then kind of pick up. But just from that Rebirth issue,
Yeah, I would definitely compare it to
I wouldn't have recommended it either. But
New 52 Batgirl and Catwoman.
yeah, I wish Catwoman would have something come.
Yeah.
Or
I haven't
at
seen
least
it
pop
all,
up.
and
Batwoman and
Not that I can think
Catwoman,
of.
those were
Yeah.
good.
Batwoman
those,
is in
those both
Detective
started out. Okay, yeah.
right now.
Oh.
And it was okay. I just didn't really. And I kind of like that it wasn't totally Batman centric. It seems like it's more Batwoman training Red
That's-
Robin and
Oh,
some of the
okay,
other
yeah.
lesser
Yeah.
Bat
So I
family
liked
characters.
Catwoman
It's
and
fine. I
Batwoman's
just didn't like it.
initial New 52 runs.
Yeah, I really liked probably one of my favorite Catwoman. I really liked. I think Ed Brubaker in the
Yep.
early 2000s, maybe. And the art style was
Like When in
kind
Rome
of similar
and
to the
stuff.
Bruce. Yeah, I really liked that.
Mhm.
I think I kind of liked that it was like the detective guy in that one. I thought that'd be a really cool storyline for detective. And I like that they don't just focus on, because that's kind of what Detective Comics became, was just about
Yeah.
Batman. But like,
Yeah. I think Batman's got enough
yeah,
series
he's
about
got
him.
It's like you could focus on.
And I
something
still
else
pick
for
a
little
lot
bit.
of them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only Batman I'm actually reading is Batman.
Well, I haven't
Rebirth.
I've got
read
that
any
and
Nightwing
All-Star.
yet, or-
No, not yet.
Is Nightwing
And,
any good?
Is it?
Not as good as
It's
their New
getting
52, but it's
better. But
starting to improve.
Okay.
It's
It's
a
not
lot of
bad.
it follows Grayson.
You gonna give it the
previous.
6?
yeah, I feel like it kind of has to. to just get past that. Maybe if you
Yeah.
get past that, it'll be
I mean, it's only
better.
got 2 issues, I guess 3 technically, but
That's definitely on my.
I like Nightwing a lot, so I'm gonna hang on to it as
Yeah.
long as I can. And, you know, if I see something good, I'll be like, okay, I'll give you
Yeah.
give you another
I'll probably wait
another
till
read
it
in
gets
2 weeks.
good and then borrow some issues from one of you. And
That's the
I don't know.
plus that's the bad thing.
If that much longer.
If
If it
there
gets
are
good.
like sort of mediocre storylines, which there's not many, but
Yeah.
even if there is, and you drop it off, and then like 2 or 3 issues later, you hear how great it is again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick it back up.
But-
And here's the new storylines.
Yeah. I mean, like the
But it's hard to find faults with this
Yeah.
Rebirth thing.
I mean, the worst of Rebirth is just okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing horrible.
And it
Yeah.
would have been like great a year or 2 ago in just the regular DC
Yeah.
stories that were
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah, because I mean, even like the Green Arrow Rebirth, I mean, I like it fine just because it
I just keep
feels,
hearing mixed reviews. I've heard okay, not
Like-
very good, and great.
For me, it feels more like Green Arrow from like the earlier comics, pre New
It's fine. There are
52.
just some moments.
Yeah, like there are some moments where I'm like, it could have been better, but I like the fact
storyline is kind of. It's very Dark Knight Rises in the sense that
a little bit.
it's like, oh, I've lost everything. All I have is Green Arrow now.
That does sound disappointing, just like
in
that
vain.
movie.
Shut your whore mouth.
But like,
Yeah.
In
And
a
then
way-
there's a few like cringeworthy dialogue
yeah,
bits here and there.
See, when you say
But-
that, it reminds me of the show, and then it's like, why would I want to pick that book up?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess since
I'm definitely on the fence. I like the character a lot. That's
Yeah,
why
'cause,
I
like,
picked
he's-
it so
yeah,
far.
he- Green Arrow's my
Actually, the
favorite
last
DC
issue
character.
I liked enough to be like, well, I don't know
Keep
if I
it
wanna
for another
drop it
week.
in that- Yeah.
yeah, like I'll definitely keep up with it because again, Green Arrow's my favorite DC
Yeah, that's
character.
the other thing.
And I like
too.
the artwork, and again, the series as a whole may not be like the best of the Rebirth, but I like the fact that it feels more like Green Arrow, like even more than the show, because the show was basically Batman with the bow and
Soap
arrow.
opera.
Yeah, and a
Have you
soap
seen
opera.
the season 5 trailer?
No, I haven't. I haven't even seen season 4 because
Neither.
If
I
you've
saw the
seen-
Constantine episode.
Well,
I like
yeah.
that.
Have you seen season 1, 2, and 3?
yeah,
You've seen season 4.
okay.
Oh,
But
guys,
Yes.
gonna destroy the city.
Instead
We
of
gotta-
wasting 22 hours of your life.
So
Yeah.
the Flash season 3 trailer doesn't have me very hopeful
Shut
because
up.
they don't have this whole. It's the same creative team from Arrow. They don't have a good track record past season 3.
yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll transition into like what are we
In,
experiencing?
in
what we can
general, I like the
experience?
Flash better, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
So
So
Well, characters, just as characters, I probably like Green Arrow better.
yeah,
I'm in the show better than Arrow. The show.
Yeah,
the show.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and I'd say I like the Flash better as a character personally, but
I get that.
he's climbing the ladder for me.
It's fine.
Yeah, like after reading like some of the new 52 and the current Rebirth, and then after watching season 1 of Flash,
I like that Wally's back.
He's-
and
oh,
doing
yeah.
his own thing.
The real
in
Wally.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
In Titans.
Yeah, and when the fake Wally comes up in Flash, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's not off-putting, but it's just kind of like, yeah, he exists.
Whatever, let's get back to the
Yeah.
And then it does.
City of Speedsters.
And then it does.
yeah,
Which I love that concept.
yeah, like that's a
Yeah.
cool concept,
Especially
and-
the way they're kind of they're already kind of explaining how they're going to write it out, you know, because you can't keep that around after.
No.
But
Like, getting
It's-
it longer than I thought they would.
well, I figured it would be the story arc. But
Yeah.
they've already kind of said ours is different and it's not as permanent. So
yeah,
they've already it's not going to stick around. But we might get at least 2 new speedsters out of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think we'll get at
his,
least one.
his partner.
24 issues a year.
What are they going to call him? They still haven't come up with a name for
Yeah.
that guy.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Hold you on.
Take it.
Yeah.
And,
That's
and now his new possible girlfriend.
love interest.
Yeah, love interest.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoilers for all this. Yeah, she's. I think she'll probably stick around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a little bit longer.
Yeah.
She'll probably move to Coast City or something.
So what are we experiencing? What are we gonna experience?
Who's
Spaceman. We'll start with you.
The Tick. I watched the Amazon Tick pilot for the new Possible series based on.
If you
It's
vote
an
on it.
interesting thing they're
Yeah.
doing. Yeah,
Yeah, I
just put out
like.
a bunch of
I
pilots.
really like. the
I think
way
that's
they
a
do
good
this.
idea,
It's,
Sean
it's
Claude
very.
Van
Johnson.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
It's very reminiscent of like
Yeah.
when we had Cartoon Fridays and
Yeah.
once a year they do like a whole weekend thing where they just play a bunch of pilots and you have to like call in and pick one to be a series. That's how Kids Next Door got picked up,
Yeah.
and they're trying to revive that. But
I'm all for it.
yeah, Some other stuff did. I think Courage got picked up that way too.
Yeah, Courage did, and I think several
Yeah.
other.
And all of these shows were hits.
Yeah.
So, do that.
Give the people the power.
Yeah. Because guess what? If we pick the show...
There's so many people that have Amazon Prime.
You can watch it if you don't have Prime.
No, you can't.
We could watch it here right now, actually. I think because you've got Amazon and Roku, right?
I do, yeah.
Alright. It's... Alright, it's not... I'll say right off the bat, it's not perfect. I see a lot of potential in it, which is something that Dave never sees in things.
My
negative half.
But it's usually they let me down because they don't follow through with
Whatever. This didn't do that. Like, it's not perfect. I think it needs... The Tick himself needs to be a bigger part of the actual show. Because, like,
There's a red flag.
Well, it's a pilot, but...
Pilots are hard to...
Kind of like if you've seen the other live-action Tick. I've
It's
never...
been a long time.
Yeah. I haven't seen a whole lot of the cartoon, actually. But,
Cartoon was pretty good.
Watched
from
a
what I
lot as a
remember.
kid. I don't remember that much.
Yeah.
But it focuses more on Arthur and his, kind of whole thing. It's kind of melodramatic in a, like, early 2000s sort of way. But at the same time, some scenes almost feel like they were shot for Daredevil. Yeah. So, like, lighting and kind of stuff just kind of looks like, if I was kind of not focused, I might think I'm watching Daredevil. But,
That's Blue Tick comes out.
yeah.
I am the Tick.
I think it has the potential to be like a parody of the Netflix genre of superhero shows, and I voted for it. There's a whole survey you fill out, and it's you pick your show, and then there's other stuff they fill out. I'd recommend the Tick pilot to people.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Dave, what's your experience?
What I have experienced already, so you're not going to talk about what you were experiencing yet.
Right, you can do that too.
We'll do that. We'll do what we have
Okay.
experienced, and then we'll go.
What I have experienced, thanks to Jordan over here, lent me some albums recently. I started listening to Florida Death Metalers' Death.
Very good band.
Listened to the album Spiritual Healing. I've been drinking. And I'm tired. So, whatever. I'm just not good in general. But
You're not like Jordan. You're not the best person.
Yeah. Jordan's the best of us.
No.
but anyway,
He's Thor and Captain America combined.
Captain Thor.
that's what I call him.
But Dave is your best friend, though.
Yeah.
What
But
do you
anyway,
call me at night? When you want me to save you?
happens quite often. I slip in the tub.
Explains the bruises.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm not a huge death metal fan in general, but he has one of those kind of
Chuck
More dis-
Schuldiner,
yeah.
vocalist, rest in peace.
one of those more distinctive kind of growls that like you had compared it to Randy Blythe from
Yeah.
Lamb of God, where you still kind of understand what he says for the most part. And,
Yeah.
I mean, the musicianship is fantastic. And it's got that energy.
Most of the lyrics have meaning.
Yeah,
Just
I like
about
that too.
killing
Yeah.
your neighbors.
Yeah. The Cookie Monster
Yeah.
vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good album. I still haven't listened to the other one you gave me yet, but it was pretty. I like the kind of bonus feed, the jam session
Yeah.
that's on there, the kind of bonus features. I guess it was an Plex Anniversary Edition or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would recommend Death Spiritual Healing. Even if, like myself, you're not a huge death metal fan, go for it.
Jordan.
Sounds good.
What are you experiencing?
I'll recommend a movie because that's what I do.
I've enjoyed your recommendations.
There was it just came out, but it will be out of theaters probably next week if it's not out already. A very low, limited release film called Hell or High Water with Jeff Bridges playing a
I like the cast.
cop who's about to retire, and this is kind of like his last little manhunt.
That whole thing again.
one. It's not a western like True Grit, but it takes place in Texas. And the thing about this movie,
Western.
yeah, a little bit, and they don't make movies like this anymore. It has a very old school feel to it, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool to experience. Not a very long movie, but Chris Pine and his brother, I think played by Ben Foster,
Who's always good in
Are-
everything. Even
are,
not very good movies, he's good.
robbing banks around these little Texas towns, and the local cops find out about it, and Jeff Bridges is kind of the mastermind behind it and has his guys trying to search for him. It's kind of like a mouse hunt at that time. But the thing is, Jeff Bridges kind of knows their next move when no one else in the department thinks of it. So it's cool to see them on the run. And Chris Pine and Ben Foster aren't robbing just to rob. They're doing it to help out their family. Their mom has just passed away. So they have reason to steal. So you're kind of you're kind of rooting for them.
Bad guys.
So that makes the film a lot more enjoyable too. Yeah. So it's kind of a.
I mean, any time you can have those layers.
Yeah. So, you like Bridges for being Bridges.
Oh,
this is it's classic
This is
Bridges.
great.
Yeah.
And dude.
And Chris
all
Pine.
seen that.
Everyone likes Chris Pine. Ben
I actually
Foster.
still haven't.
It's actually
Might have to
coming
be
to
one.
theaters again,
Is it?
like the classic stuff. But
We'll have to drink White Russians.
yeah. But so you're kind of rooting for a lot of characters. You don't really know what side to be on. So it's kind of cool how it builds up, and I'd recommend it because there's a lot of movies this year that have fallen under this category of not getting wide releases and not.
Green Room.
Everybody wants some. Bloodfather, which just came out, that was amazing. I'd definitely recommend that as well. Mel Gibson's return
That's right.
is so good, and
Give him a
there's
chance. Robert Downey
yeah,
Jr. did.
yeah. There's like 10 movies just this year that have come out that no one knows about because of just
So everybody's
studios
focusing on
and
the blockbusters.
the film. It just takes away from it. So that's what
all the
sucks.
press is on.
That's what sucks about
It's
good
weird.
movies like
it's
this.
It's weird because even if these movies are terrible, they're still
Making-
monopolizing all the press.
Like movies, Independence Day 2 gets, 6 to 8 weeks, and then Hell or High Water is going to get 1 to 2 weeks at the most.
Yeah.
And then a movie like Bloodfather got released in like one theater in our state. So it's just
Province, because we're in Canada.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said state.
Our state of
Well,
being.
yeah. Didn't say where, but
David Richard.
it's
One
been
of those.
it's just been a weird year for movies.
It really
'Cause we've had
has.
all these blockbusters that have failed. Then we have all these
Maybe,
good little movies.
or maybe not even
that
failed
don't
so
get-
much, but kind of under-delivered.
Yeah, just underwhelmed. And,
But there have been some
Either
failed
critically
ones.
or financially.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been plenty of good movies, but
Yeah.
just in terms of your regular
They're not
big budget
big
movies,
movies.
it's not blowing people away.
No.
Except for a select few. But
Yeah.
Anyway, Hell or High Water.
Alright.
Go see it when it comes out on DVD in
So I guess
2
like
months.
something that I've experienced recently, and I'm a little bit late, is Netflix original Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was one of those shows where like I kept hearing a lot of things.
We've all watched Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the first one to recommend it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I've seen
Off
I was just like, it's 8
off
episodes,
mic
whatever.
or on mic, I don't remember.
I don't remember
Either
either.
way.
But yeah, like it was one of those things that like people, like I just kept seeing people talk about it, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a go.
Even Aaron Paul
And-
is a huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause apparently he got to interview 11 for Elle magazine. So I'm talking about it on maybe Jimmy Fallon or something. I don't know.
One of those late night talk shows. But yeah, basically,
And Aaron Paul has great taste.
yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, BoJack Horseman, Breaking
Bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, basically, basically,
The
Stranger
sequel to Breaking
Things.
Bad, Need for Speed.
Stranger Things takes place in like the early to mid '80s. I forget what year exactly. I want to say like
83
80.
or 4.
Yeah, I think it's 80.
82 because
82
Return
or
of the
83.
Jedi wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
They have a lot of Star Wars
Yeah.
stuff.
So yeah, it's kind of got like a lot of pop culture references to like the time period.
It's very a product of that time.
Yeah.
That's what drew me in. 'Cause
But
I'm a
like
huge fan of that.
here's the beauty though of Stranger Things. It takes place in the '80s, but it feels like it was filmed in the '80s. Like there have been a lot of movies and TV shows where like they're set in a
it
specific
takes
time
place,
frame,
Oh, yeah.
but it feels very modern.
Shot today.
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Filmmaking techniques.
But like Stranger Things, there's so many times all throughout the episode, the series. Not like there weren't any moments where I'm like, oh, this is clearly a modern TV show, aside from
Yeah.
the production value. But I was just like, man, it kind of made me reminisce of like, I mean, we grew up in the early '90s before the whole internet boom.
I think a lot of us
like,
90s
simpler
kids
times.
experienced a lot of the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like simpler times where basically if you called your friend to like hang out and they didn't answer, you're like, well, they're probably dead. and
And you just move on with your life.
yeah. Or you're like, if they didn't pick up the phone, you're like, well, I can bike to their house. And you bike to their house, knock on
Yeah.
the door, ring the bell, still don't answer. You're like, they're definitely dead now. Then you're like, I have to find a new friend now. Basically,
Bullies picking on you at school.
yeah, for playing
Then
D&D.
your cool new
Yeah.
friend makes him wet himself.
Yeah. But basically, spoilers, by the way. So if you're not caught up, someone wets themselves in Stranger Things. But basically, the whole premise is
It's a big plot point.
It's a pretty big one.
It ruins everything.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I will, before you get into that, one thing I'll actually give this a leg up on over a lot of stuff from the 80s is that at least they didn't look like, they didn't get a bunch of like people in their late 20s to 30s,
Yeah.
like the teenagers.
yeah, like they actually had
Like everything
people
in
of
the
the
80s
appropriate
did.
age.
Yeah, like everything in the
Like
80s. Like,
18 to 20.
Yeah.
like
And
you
the
watch,
kids were actually like
And see,
11, 12.
you
I don't
know,
like
too-
the kids
yes.
in this, and I
Yeah.
hate children.
Yeah, I don't like child
Yeah, I
actors
had
most
to
of the
say that.
time.
I don't like children in general.
They're all really
Yeah.
good.
But these
Yeah.
You
child
didn't like
actors,
what you once were.
like these child
Yeah.
actors, I'm like, oh my god, these kids are.
Yeah, they're all
they could
fantastic.
act circles around a lot of these big name
That's
actors
something I
out
learned in
now.
Aaron Paul.
Except for
You
Shia
know,
LaBeouf.
Yes.
11 is British.
Yeah, I
Whoa.
actually saw an interview with her and Winona Ryder.
Millie Bobby
That's another
Brown.
thing. Winona Ryder. This could be like her comeback.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because she, I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
entire
did.
cast was great. Another thing too is how they had like these.
David Harbour, the best actor in Suicide Squad.
Sure, but like they had like
Kinda
even
talks like Harrison Ford.
like these supporting actors.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Everybody's
a
great.
good example is the actor who played Steve,
Yeah.
who looks
Yeah.
like John Ralphio in Parks and Rec. But like that
Pick up the
guy,
hair.
he comes off like at the beginning as kind of like this one-dimensional jock character.
Yeah.
I was like,
kind of liked him.
I genuinely
I
genuinely
hate that
liked
character
him.
type, so-
Because, like, again, at the beginning, because for the longest time of the show, I was like, oh, he's probably going to take advantage of her or something like that. But then at the end, I'm like, I like Steve.
Yeah.
And at the last episode, when they're, like, fighting the
He grows a
monster.
little.
Demogorgon.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Demogorgon,
Yeah.
as
They
it's
didn't
dubbed.
call it anything else.
Yeah, but that's.
Character growth.
But, like, I was like, Steve shows up, I'm like, oh, Steve's probably going to die. And I was like, I don't want Steve to die. I like Steve. And at the end, like, because the typical like trope or whatever in this genre, or just in movies in general or TV shows, forget her name, Nancy.
Nancy, yeah.
Nancy would have ended up hooking up with Jonathan, which they did have some chemistry, but like it would have been one of those
More
things
of the
where,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have made as much sense.
Yeah,
because
but, like-
again, he was still a creep, like taking pictures.
yeah. And again, like when Steve broke his camera,
Not her
that's a
fault.
legitimate reason.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he was legitimately pissed, not
Yeah.
because he's like, you're a loser, you're a nerd, I'm gonna break your camera.
Yeah, we're supposed to see things from whatever Will's brother's name.
Jaden.
Will's son.
Son.
Whatever.
Yeah, but
The character Will
Will.
Byers who goes missing.
yeah, which is kind of the
Starts
catalyst
all
to the
this?
whole. Yeah.
His brother
Jonathan,
Yeah, yeah. I know, you
the
just
most
said it.
the most common male name in the face of the
I
planet.
already established I'm not good. But yeah, we're supposed to be seeing things from Jonathan because he's kind of an outcast.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he's a creep, but you get why because you
Yeah.
see his home situation.
Yeah.
You know, his brother's gone missing. Everything.
Mhm.
You're supposed to feel sorry for him, but at the same time, he's also this creep taking pictures
Yeah.
Yeah,
of this party.
And I like that there's like layers of like stories. Like you got
Oh,
the
yeah.
you got
Oh,
the
yeah.
kid's story, you got the teenager story, then you got the like adult story.
Yeah.
And it's all-
they all come together
Goes
at the
up the
end.
ladder.
It's
yeah.
all kind of the same story, but you're seeing it from their
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
yeah,
And a lot of it from the kids' perspective is a big part of the kids getting together is they
Mhm.
play D&D together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you get the Demogorgon, which
Yeah.
is what they call this
Creature,
creature,
yeah.
thing
Yeah.
that takes their friend.
and I think another thing is like pretty much all the characters to some form or fashion are relatable. Like obviously, like we relate more probably to the kids just because they're nerds like us. They read, they brought up like a lot of comic book references and stuff like that. A lot of pop culture, Star Wars.
A lot of X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men in particular.
Yeah.
I know there was an issue of X-Men was going to be traded for something.
Yeah.
If like they raced or something.
Yeah, but even the science is like a lot of it is kind of like speculative and stuff like that. But apparently, like even
It's good enough.
yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
things where like there have been scientists who have commented on. They're like, they're like, yeah, some of this stuff is obviously not like in stone. This is plausible. This is implausible. But they're like, what science is there? They're like, yeah, this seems pretty legit.
Any kind of TV show or movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
As long as they make an effort.
Yeah,
And there's
and
Accept it.
I think that's
Unless it's just completely ridiculous.
yeah.
There is real precedent for like the whole like parallel universes thing
Mhm.
in real science.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt that it'll just be full of like guys with like human-ish things with no face that eats
Yeah.
people. With
But like
no
even
face,
the explanation
but-
of like the upside down world is in the fact that there's
I
like
always
these little
refer to it through the kids' perspective.
Yeah.
They're the ones who
It just
kinda
feels
believe-
real,
they
even when,
believe
when
it.
you know on paper.
Or they
if
don't
you read
question
it.
it.
It used to
Yeah.
be like fake.
and that again, like everything works so well in this show. Like, and there's not like, I mean, granted it's only 8 episodes, but there's not a moment of
Yeah.
filler.
It's not perfect,
Everything.
too, but
That's what I was
there's-
gonna say. How can you get all of this in 8 episodes?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just
And they're not even
shows that how
because a lot
how
of
good they
Netflix
are.
or Showtime, HBO, they take your whole ad,
Yeah.
55
Yeah.
to 60 minutes,
Mhm.
sometimes more than that.
But just
Yeah.
with timing and pacing was great.
Yeah.
And they're I think the pilot was closer to an hour.
Yeah.
It's like an hour,
Most of the episodes are
40,
5
45,
minutes.
46 minutes.
It's like network TV.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stranger Things. If you're like, again, I was a little later to the game. I started watching it about a month after it came out. But if you still have not watched it,
Still new.
sorry for spoiling a
Yeah.
lot of things, but
We
you need to
don't
watch
usually-
it.
We warned you.
Yeah, we did warn you.
If you've made it this far.
Someone
You have
pissed
no-
themselves.
You have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah, you are
It's
full.
it's a great show.
It is.
And I know they will, especially a success. I think it's
It's one of the
considered
highest rated Netflix
the
series, I
third
think.
most watched Netflix show this
Yeah.
year. Only beaten by, I think, new season of
Daredevil.
Orange. No, it beat Daredevil.
Really?
Season 2.
Wow.
I believe
That was last year.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, it still beat the ratings.
Oh.
For
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Orange
I
is
believe
New
that.
Black, I think. Maybe House of Cards.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Which
Definitely
makes
not.
but it's like the third most watched this year. I'm not sure overall.
Yeah.
What I read was it's the third most watched.
I believe
this
it.
year.
It was a hit.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to see some form of a season 2?
Well, see, here's
I don't want these characters.
yeah, like I
But
think
I
it would
want-
be
I would like.
I want
an anthology.
Yeah,
I
the
wanna-
anthology
yeah.
would work.
Yeah, I want them to just do it again.
Or even
Start
just-
it over.
It
Introduce
could be in the
season-
same time
Yeah,
period.
same.
But just across the
Preferably.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe later on you could.
Maybe just
sort of-
have it like
I don't want them all
2 or
to
3
meet
years later.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's in the 80s.
because that
Maybe have one character kind of
Yeah.
tie it together.
Yeah.
you
because
know,
that's kind of
the sheriff.
the beauty in a way of Stranger Things is it's
I don't think that's what they're doing. by
Like,
the
it's-
ending, but
it's so good that like
I just-
you want a continuation of some kind,
I don't.
but at the same
because-
time, it, like because I think there's enough precedence to continue it, but at the same time you're like, even if like they do a second season, it's like a direct continuation of the first, it'll probably be
And it
good.
seems like, and from the comments they made too.
Yeah.
It seems like it's
Like it'll probably be good, but it's still one of those things where like the first season was so perfect. It's like just
Leave that
I-
alone.
yeah, I
Let
want
it be a
just-
cult
yeah.
following
I'm just
for
kind of
years
sick
to come.
of everything is a sequel.
Yeah.
Everything's a universe.
Because
yeah,
money.
yeah.
Yeah. Even
But
Sharknado's got a
and
universe
again-
now.
Yeah.
And again, something so good like that, you just don't want to cheapen it with anything.
Yeah.
Can we just leave it? Can it just be another main reason I don't want Watchmen in the main DC universe?
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Whatever
it.
because can't it just be really good and on its own? And
Yeah.
not cheapen it with anything else. And not to say that the next season or whatever won't be good.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
I'd be
saying.
fine with an anthology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want an anthology. I'll, like, do it
I don't
again.
really want a
Introduce us to new
continuation.
characters. Introduce us to some new characters. Give us a new premise, new story.
Mhm.
It can be in the same universe, but like, kind of do a Tarantino type thing where it's in it, but it's not like
Like,
obviously.
yeah, like they could have references to like
Yeah.
some of the events that took place and
give
like,
us some of the same like fictional brands of food and
Yeah.
stuff or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, make it its own thing. Like where if someone hasn't seen season 1, they can just jump into this.
yeah.
You
There
know.
might be a few references.
Kind of like True
Yeah.
Detective did with their 2
Might
seasons.
not even be getting a third season.
No,
Still need
probably
to
not, but
watch
still.
at least the first one.
Just like that, that anthology type
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, I think that's the best way
But
to do this. Honestly,
they've been debating maybe a third season, but Nick, whatever his last whole Bledsoe, something Italian sounding last name. Many apologies.
I don't know what you're going on.
He's a
about.
big fan of this
The
channel, and you're
creator-
butchering his
creator
last
of True
name.
Detective
Sure.
he's working on another series,
Mm-hmm.
and there's HBO is still debating
Okay.
whether they want to do season 3 or not. Probably not. Definitely not anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think they're still on the fence. with
The
it.
Night Of has been a great replacement, so.
Somebody
What
can
I
watch
keep
that.
hearing.
So I guess what we gonna experience? Reverend Spaceman.
Goldfinger.
Yeah, there's that. Surprised that somehow I've never seen this before. Also, but when we were at a certain store that sells used DVDs recently, I picked up, for like dirt cheap, I picked up the 3-disc collector's edition of Hot Fuzz.
Nice buy.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz is so great.
So I've never seen that. I've seen Shaun of the Dead.
Have you seen World's End?
No.
Okay.
So I'm watching them in order.
Hot Fuzz, I think, is my favorite, just slightly over Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, in World's End is my least favorite, but it's still really good. Like the Cornetto trilogy is just perfection.
Yeah. World's End, just from the trailers I've seen, kind of looks more my thing, but
Yeah, I could see you liking that one more.
yeah. But I've heard good things about Hot Fuzz. I know that like
It's the same creative team.
yeah, it's
Simon
Yeah.
Pegg, Nick Frost, and Edgar Wright.
I kind of expect to like it more than Shaun of the Dead just because like I hate zombie stuff. Like that is entirely a bias, and even I know Shaun of the Dead is a parody, but like I'm sick of it.
Fair enough.
Dave. Besides the life of
Yeah,
Brian,
besides the life of Brian, which we'll get to in another segment.
yeah,
Um,
probably a month from now, maybe.
I'm gonna try to get this watched pretty soon, but
I got some days off. I'll watch.
as you should
my thing.
try to get Quickfinger watched
Yeah.
pretty soon. I'm going to experience dead air. You're gonna experience dead air because
That's
I
what-
can't think of anything.
So we should just lean in real close, talking in little quiet, soothing voices.
What is Dave gonna
You
experience?
wanna go ahead and
Go with the
something?
dragon tattoo. Get on that whole
American
ASMR
one?
thing that
Yes.
people are doing on
I
YouTube
guess
where
it's
they
on the
talk
list
really quiet.
eventually.
And people get
I
really
have
quiet
seen
because they just
Swedish
talk.
too.
And it's really weird and creepy, but some people really like it in an almost sexual way. And it puts them to sleep at night or something.
What?
What?
Good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are there any movies, comics, books you plan on checking out soon?
You have a long list.
This
I do have a
could
really long
just
list.
pick
again.
one.
This doesn't have to be immediate. This could be like a few weeks down the road. Just
Yeah.
something you plan on experiencing at some point, but preferably experience it within the next week when we do a
week
next
or so.
podcast. Yeah, so that's how this works, Dave.
I'm aware. I just don't have anything.
All right.
You
Well,
might wanna-
you're still thinking.
I'll think of something.
I wanted to give you. I guess come October, I'm gonna try to do kind of like a Halloween themed.
October. That's not in the
movie.
next week.
We said down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watch a lot of scary Halloween type movies. Get that whole thing going, and I'm just starting the Black Sabbath movie, which the band Black Sabbath got their name from, that old horror film. So
Very
I'm
nice.
gonna revisit some. Well, no, not revisit, but actually see for the first time a lot of classic horror films that haven't seen before. So looking forward to that. Dave.
Back to me again? So soon? Okay, a little bit down the road. I'm gonna
See?
since I thought I had to do it within the week.
No.
But two things I'm looking very much forward to, both in September, and I'll do two since I ruined this whole thing. Again, I'm not good. As you're clearly seeing here,
I'm
I'm the
ashamed.
worst personality here.
I'm ashamed to. I'm ashamed to call you my best friend / headmate.
You should be. Anyway, the new Alter Bridge album, The Last
Yeah.
Hero, even though I was a little disappointed by the new single, it's grown on me.
I really haven't been listening much. Just
I listened a couple more times.
Yeah.
I actually heard it on a local radio station the other day.
What is this thing
What's
you just
that?
In
said?
your region,
I don't know what that is.
wherever the region is that you
No, I mean that
are.
other thing you said before that.
Alter Bridge?
After that.
The radio?
Yeah.
I do it in the car sometimes.
I don't
Anyway,
even know what you do.
And I think it actually comes out before the Alter Bridge album, the new Evergrey album, The Story
Oh, yeah.
Within. I've already heard a couple tracks have leaked. The other day, I think on their Facebook page, they released snippets of every song. I didn't want to hear it yet.
Mhm.
I've heard 3 songs. They've released 2 videos, and I kind of just stumbled upon one on YouTube that just leaked, which sounds a lot like their older stuff.
Mhm.
A little on the weirder, synth-heavy side, but
Yeah.
still really cool. Like what I'm hearing a lot. I didn't like Paradox of the Flame as much
Mhm.
as the other 2 tracks they released. It's still a really good ballad.
Yeah.
Glad to see their lead vocalist's wife, who Has appeared in every album except for their last album.
Hmm.
Has rejoined them for this one.
Better music coming out this fall too.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
as a
the
whole,
rest of the year's
consistent.
getting
Monty Pittman's got another album
yeah.
coming out
Yeah.
next month.
Yeah, if it's anything like his last one, it should be really good.
In Flames
But,
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these albums, but those for sure in September, which is fast upon us. I'll be picking those up.
Cool beans.
And we'll definitely be mentioned on the myriad of podcasts we do now.
Yeah.
The whole like 2 that we do.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
More-
plans for
More
expansion.
announcements to come later.
Yeah.
You guys are just like, these guys are doing more of this crap?
Watch this space.
Yeah.
You're gonna be so sick of us.
Big end of the year plans,
Yeah.
people.
So
This
that's,
is going to be the Kevin Hart of podcasting.
Yes. Get our own movie.
yeah. So the thing that I'm experiencing before we wrap this up.
Everyone raw button these seats.
So I think I've mentioned before in the podcast. I don't know which one, or maybe multiple.
You've been appearing on so many now.
I know.
You're
But,
such a fucking social butterfly, you piece of shit.
I'm sorry. Just gotta let me fly, man.
You're not a peacock.
I am a peacock. Shut your mate. Shut your mouth.
Shut your
I was meaning
you're
to
not
say
real.
shut your face. I'm embracing my inner Canadian mate.
That's Australia.
Whatever.
Oh, you're from Ireland.
Some foreign country
talk about
that's
my
not
people.
Canada.
You're either American or you're a terrorist.
Me and Luke Hemsworth take exception to that.
You are
Anyways.
a terrorist. I have a terrorist living inside of my head.
That's believable.
Anyways. Yeah. So,
He wouldn't live very long.
me being the Green Arrow fan, I've been reading a lot of the, like, over the past couple of years, the Mike Grell run of Green Arrow from the 80s.
Speak highly of it, and so do many people.
yeah.
I need to get on it.
So I picked up Volume 5 called Black Arrow. And basically, like, you know, this... No. This was before Diggle. I obviously haven't read it yet. Don't know a whole lot of the details. It's just one of those things where I've liked the run so far that I just instantly bought it off Amazon. And like, it's been great so far. And really, like, if you're curious to like read any Green Arrow stuff, I would start with like the Mike Grell run. Longbow Huntress, I think, was like the first. I think it actually started as a mini series, but it was received so well that they were like, "Hey, man, keep writing." And it's regarded as like one of, if not the best Green Arrow run of all time. So start with that. And even though like it's created in the '80s, some people are a little turned off by like some of the artwork or whatever.
You
Get
get used
over
to
it.
The artwork I think is really good.
I like
At
yeah,
least it's not the 90s.
but also
back some of that like '60s Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
Is cool.
But like the beauty of like this series is like it is kind of like a darker, grittier like story and stuff like that. But it's not like it's still very much true to like Green Arrow. Like he's still got that sarcastic, witty humor. So it's not like I don't know, like because I feel like in the late '80s and like early '90s, that's when like comics were like dark all up your ass, in your face. We're dark, we're edgy. But this
Particularly
was
the 90s.
Yeah, particularly the '90s. This was that nice
Liefeld.
balance of like it put Green Arrow and Black Canary kind of like it grounded it a bit more in reality, but it still felt like you're reading a Green Arrow comic, not like the show where they're kind of like, oh, it's like in reality and he's Batman, but with a bow and arrow.
We're
So
definitely on the CW.
yeah. So yeah, I'd really recommend Mike Grell's run of Green Arrow in the '80s. It's really good.
All right.
So I think that wraps up this podcast. So until next time, everyone, cheers.
Later, Pasty.